What's up, guys? So it's already Tuesday. The Arnold was on Friday, so it's been quite a few days that I've been back home and been able to reflect on the weekend, been able to kind of think about what happened the last couple days going into the show, and how, you know, you want to adjust for the next one. Just like everything else, you need to have a clear mind so that you can kind of think about everything and not so much in the heat of the moment, and be able to come up with the best decision for the next one. So I kind of like wrote up a bunch of stuff that I wanted to kind of go over and talk about. But this is going to be my post-show series. So I'm going to be talking about a lot of other topics in this series. Just to give you an example, like reverse dieting. These are things that are post-show kind of theme. I know a lot of you guys go through the same type of things that even as a pro that I go through or have been through in the past, and I think it's good to talk about them and maybe give you guys some tips on how I overcame them, or maybe some strategies on how to overcome them, so that you set yourself up in a good position for your post-show success. So here we go. So the first thing that I have on here is an Arnold recap. So what went on the Arnold after prejudging and all that stuff, and how I felt, and what I did after the Arnold. And as you guys can see, I've been posting up pictures of myself one day after the show and 2 days after the show, and kind of comparing my different looks, stage show day and 2 days after, 1 day after, 2 days after. So I think in general, I think that me and Johnny did a very good job of peaking for this show. Do I think that we could have came in a little bit harder? I think everybody, no matter how perfect you think that you can come in, there's always room for improvement, whether it's drier or harder or more conditioned or anything like that. I am very happy with the balance that we brought to this show. I think that we were able to accomplish a look that was favorable, and that's why it did come out. I was called out in the first call out initially in the first call, which was my goal to begin with going into the Arnold many months ago. In December, when I put my name down to do the Arnold, I was just going to be happy. I was happy with just coming out in the first call out with 30 plus incredible guys in the class. I was just happy with first call out, and anything else that happened after that was a plus to me. So I just wanted to put that one out there. I did feel like I was having a bit of trouble flexing my legs. A lot of, you know, after, again, when you sit back and you think a lot about these things, I don't think it really had to do a lot with carbohydrates or sodium or anything like that. I think that I was a little bit stressed going into the show. And nothing that nobody put stress on me. I was just putting stress on myself, unnecessary stress on myself. And me and Johnny were talking about it, and, you know, talking about how, you know, your cortisol level goes up when you're very stressed, and this hormone really negatively affects the cosmetic look of your body. And I had told him I'm not a nervous person to get on stage. If anything, I get excited. And I think that that right there is what triggers these negative effects on me personally, is that I get so amped up and so excited to get on stage that this hormone just you know, shoots up, and I get very I get anxious. Not bad anxiety, but I get anxious. I start replaying in my head, you know, how I'm going to be doing my posing routine and everything. And unfortunately, they didn't allow us to do our free posing. I'm assuming because there was so many competitors in this class that they didn't allow us to do our, you know, 60-second free posing, which we all practiced. Everybody backstage was pissed off when they said we weren't going to do that. But I was playing that in my head over and over and over again, leading into prejudging and even the days prior. And immediately when I would start thinking about it and kind of closing my eyes and getting into that, you know, each pose and where I'm supposed to go next, I'd immediately feel like my body temperature would go up and I would start perspirating and I would start breaking a sweat. At the time, I didn't think twice of this. I just thought, you know, it is what it is kind of stuff. But it really, that makes a huge impact on your physique. And I think that the next one, I'm gonna be doing a lot of things to calm myself down and make sure that my mind frame is clear and I'm not overthinking anything. As far as prejudging goes, I thought that I did well in prejudging. I think that looking over the shots and the videos, I think that I'm going to be adjusting a few of my poses, especially the front double. I have to figure out how I'm going to hit that shot, whether I want to go back to more of a 212 when I was hitting my vacuum straight on as a 212, or angled more vacuum. I think the vacuum's favorable. It's just I have to obviously practice a lot more and holding it for extended periods of time, holding the vacuum. I thought my side shot was killer. I thought that I was very heavily muscled from the side. And from the back, I was extremely happy from the back as well. I think I was just as detailed as everybody else on stage from the back, which my back used to be my weakest shot, and I think that now, looking over some of the video, that it's one of my stronger shots. Prejudging, they had me in the first call out. They called us off, and then they brought me back with the second call out group later on during the judging, and they had me in the center. They moved the two guys next to me around, and then I was fighting for that 6th spot, and I lost that 6th spot to my boy Danny, which looked incredible, by the way, by 1 point. So I did not pose that night, which I was very disappointed. But again, I was very happy with being in the first call out. I just wish that I was able to pose that night with my routine. I think that my strongest points are definitely going to be my posing, and with not being able to do a 60-second routine in prejudging and not being able to do the routine at night, I think really hurts me, since those are, I would think that those are my stronger points. So after finding out that I wasn't in the first call out, I mean in the top 6, and I wasn't going to be posing at night, you know, the stress kind of dissipates, and I pretty much ate freely and drank freely that entire day, the rest of the day. You saw in my YouTube video, Janice made me some delicious rice cakes with peanut butter and Reese's Pieces and all this good stuff. And I have a list that I sent Johnny of all the shit I documented, everything that I ate and everything that I drank that day, and boom, and then I took pictures in the morning. I wanted to see what I look like. So those are the one day after photos that I posted up. And then the second day, what I did is we trained and we went to, we did some more eating that day, and we went to the expo, but I only drank to thirst. So I wasn't pounding water. I was just, whenever I was thirsty, I would take sips of water until I was fine. And then I just continued to eat whatever I wanted that day, which a lot of it was, I mean, when I say I was eating whatever I wanted, I was eating garbage. I was eating garbage all day. And then that got me to the third day, or the 2 days after the show. And those are the last set of comparison photos that I took. and that was before the Flex magazine shoot. I flew back home after the Flex magazine shoot on Sunday, and I had posted the video of me and Carlos eating McDonald's, and that was about it. I came home. Janice made me some cookies, her famous ginger spice cookies with some halo top, the way that I like it. That's the way that I like it, with some fat-free whip. And after that, we just relaxed. We were done. The next day, I had work. And what I did is, and I showed you guys in previous video, is the importance of making sure that you're prepared when you get back from a show. A lot of times in the past, I used to come back from a show and I didn't have shit in my refrigerator. And then I'd have to go to work the next day, and guess what? I'm going to be eating out. And that already starts a slippery slope to your reverse dieting and you know, trying to get rid of that excess water those next couple of days. So I had made sure that I had chicken ready to go, and I had my steak ready to go, and I had my cauliflower rice, as you guys know that I love so much, ready to go. And Janice was nice enough to pick me up some odds and ends, because this week I go right back into a dieting mode. Cardio's still in. Cardio is still about an hour to an hour and a half a day. Get this water down. I've had enough carbs to last me a month. And now I'm back on low carbs again, just like contest prep, just like if I was on contest prep again, except that, you know, I'm having, if I want to eat something, if I want to eat a protein bar or something like that, I'll have it sparingly. If I am craving something like, I don't know, like I'm having a ton of Diet Coke because I have a sweet tooth right now, and I'm having a ton of this guy right here, some of the Bang Guava, which is incredible. Janice was able to bring home about three cases. I don't know how. 3 cases of the Bang. So my fridge is full of them. But it's back on the diet. You can't just, now that the show's over, you can't just let yourself explode. So I've done it in the past, and I've gotten a really bad edema from that. My ankles swell up. I feel very uncomfortable. I can barely breathe. And you can still see that my face is still pretty drawn in. And I'm happy about that, because that means that I didn't overdo anything. I didn't overdo the water. I didn't overdo the food post-show, even though I ate those 2 days freely. Another thing is, speaking of water, is that post-show, I did not pound, even though I'm dehydrated. You have to go slow. You have to go very slow, because if you start pounding a gallon of water, you're going to hold that gallon of water. And again, it's happened to me before. I'm talking to you guys from experience. There's been times post-show where I'm thinking, oh, I'll go back to my 2 gallons of water a day. And I put down those 2 gallons of water, and I only pissed once during the day. I'm holding 16 pounds of water now because of that. And now you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, holy shit, like it looked fat as fuck. But then you pinch your skin, you have no, you know, fat granules or anything like that. It's just, you're holding a shit ton of water. And it's very uncomfortable. If anything, it's very uncomfortable. So I'm slowly going up in water again, slowly getting close to my gallon again. After I get back to my gallon, then I'm gonna go 1.5 gallons and 2 gallons. You have to be very, very moderate with this, okay? So that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna be traveling to China with Muscle Tech coming up. So I'm gonna do my best over there. I know that the food's very limited over there. I just had a conversation on IG with the men's physique Olympia winner, Jeremy. And Jeremy, I asked him, yo, have you been to China before? Because he travels everywhere. What can you tell me about China? And he's like, make sure that you take protein bars or beef jerky or things like that. And he also mentioned to bring toilet paper. I'm a moist wipes type of person myself, so I bought like the industrial one to take over there with me. But I'm packing the best that I can with some meals. He also mentioned protein powder, so I'm taking my Muscle Tech protein powder. I'm taking some pre-packed oats. I'm taking some rice cakes. I'm taking my tuna in the packets and some beef jerky. And whatever else I can find in the airport, I'm just gonna snag. If I could snag some nuts over there, if I can snag whatever I can get my hands on that's pretty decent and that I can get away with. My goal is not to allow my weight to fluctuate so much, since I am gonna be getting ready for another show. It's not soon, but it is about 20 weeks away. So I think that the better that I set myself up starting that prep, the easier it's going to be, and the more play that me and Johnny are going to have when it comes to peaking for that show, if I can manage my weight. So those are my future plans. My future plans are to compete again. It's going to be at, so far as of right now, it's going to be at the Tampa Pro. I'm trying to keep it local just because everything is so damn expensive with the flights and everything like that. Tampa's not very far away from me. And after that, I can go to Busch Gardens with Janice because we both love thrill rides. So that's going to be my future plans. And it's only about 6 weeks away from the Olympia. So if it's a favorable show for me, I'm within striking distance of the Olympia. And if not, guess what? They got another show in Tampa like 3 weeks after that. So I could go right into Tampa, or Tampa, Olympia, and then who knows. But it's a very good spot for me. The main thing is that I'm going to be able to take time off. This was a hardcore prep. This, you want to come in your best for the Arnold Classic. So you're going to be aggressive with some things. It's a reality. You're going to be aggressive with some things, and when you go into a show very aggressive, it's very hard to then be just as aggressive and get the same results, or you're going to have to be more aggressive to get better results or the same results going into the next show. And I think you guys know what I'm, catch my drift, what I'm talking about here. But it's time to clean up. It's time to get healthy in these next 3 months, get blood work done, get an echo done, get all these little things done so that when you start prep again, you're in a good spot. You're in a good spot calorically, you're in a good spot condition-wise, and you're in a good spot health-wise, internally. So it's very important that you do take some time off so that you can come back better and much more fresh. So the final question, or the topic that I'm going to talk about in this segment, is what am I currently doing now? Coming back from the Arnold, what do I do? And when I say what am I doing, is what am I doing chemically? What am I doing to get off of what I was doing before? How do I get off? And how do I get healthy again, getting into going into my next show? So any stimulants, I come off of them. I just come off of them. I don't taper them. I don't do nothing. I just come off of them. So to give you an example, clenbuterol, I just come off of it. I don't taper it. I don't do anything like that. Just coming off of it, allowing your body to naturally regenerate itself and get healthy is I've always found success that way. Secondly is going to be that I had mentioned before is the T3. Now, the T3, on the other hand, you don't want to come off cold turkey. You do want to taper it off as slow as possible. Anywhere between 12.5 micrograms every 10 days you're coming off, or even at 25 micrograms you could come off. But the key is to come off slowly. Johnny has me doing every 10 days the dosage is going to be lowered. So you could tell that, you know, if I'm running, let's just say, if I'm running 50 micrograms and you're coming off every 10 days, you're going down 12.5. Look how long it's going to take you. It's going to take you just about a month, 30 days or so to come off, just over 30 days to come off of the product and be at 0. So it's it does take some time, but you want to do that properly, just so that you don't, so that your normal T3 levels are up to par again, and so that you don't have any type of rebound. I think that your thyroid is extremely important. And remember, in my last video, I had said that your thyroid's like is like your metabolism. So if your metabolism isn't healthy, you're pounding all these extra calories post-show, it's literally a recipe for disaster. You are gonna get extremely freaking fat. So you have to go nice and slow with this. The second thing is gonna be all the oils and all the orals that come with contest prep. I come off of all the orals post-show, and as far as oils go, for me personally, I don't need to gain any more weight. I don't need to gain any more size. A lot of guys like to catch the rebound after a show so that they could accumulate some muscle. I don't really need that per se so much. So instead of me coming back down to a TRT dose, which I do stay at in the off season, I stay at a TRT dose. Again, I've been doing this for 10 years. Even though I'm young, I've been doing this for 10 years. So it's, I don't really come off entirely. I always stay on a TRT dose just for health for me personally. And so that Janice doesn't break up with me either. So, well, well, that almost fell. Okay. So I stay on a TRT dose, usually. Coming off of a show, it'll probably be about 300 milligrams a week. So that's where it'll probably stay at for a few weeks, and then it'll drop back down to about anywhere between 150 and 200 a week. So with that being said, that's where I am at currently. I don't know until after I come back from China where my diet's gonna be, where it's gonna be at. So I'll make sure to keep you guys posted. I know that Johnny had mentioned macros. I don't love the idea of macros. I do like if he were to tell me like eat 7 ounces of protein in this meal, because then I could just get creative and just be like, well, I feel like eating fish this meal. I feel like eating, you know, chicken this meal, and I'll just substitute for whatever I want. Or if he says like eat, you know, post-workout, eat cereal, eat 2 cups of cereal, I'll be able to pick my own cereal, just keep it, you know, under a certain gram of fat. Or if he says like add, you know, 8 grams of fat to this meal, I'll be able to add my own avocado, or, you know, a few whole eggs, or whatever it may be, and I could do macros that way. But if I'm terrible I'm too lazy to even do a real macro style diet where this is your protein for the day, this is your carbs for the day, this is your fats for the day. I would just rather have each meal broken down, and then if I get to just choose what I want in that meal. I know that one of my goals, and I'll have to speak to Johnny about this, one of my goals is to actually incorporate this off-season fruit in my diet. I've never really had fruit. I love fruit, never really had fruit in my diet before. So I would like to get the benefits of eating more fruit in a diet, more well-balanced in the off-season, and hopefully it translates to something good and can go into contest prep too. But that's where I'm currently at. I'm going to be videoing China. I'm going to be posting about China. I leave in a few days. So tomorrow I'm going to be able to see Janice and my parents for the last time before I head out to China. And we're going to go grab a bite to eat, some sushi and stuff. So I'll record some of that so that you guys can see what's going on in my life. Now, to move forward with this post-show series, I'm going to be touching on these topics that I'm about to tell you right now. But if you want for me to touch on any other topics post-show, please leave them in the comments, and I'll make sure I make a video on them and my thoughts on them. So I'm going to be talking about reverse dieting post-show. I'm going to be talking about intermittent fasting, which I touched on in my McDonald's video. Yeah, intermittent fasting while while eating McDonald's. Tapering off of product, which we already talked about, so I might not even make a video about that. I just talked about it. And the importance of cardio in the off season, or the importance of cardio post-show, especially when people like to get lazy and not do their cardio after a show, and how important it is, and how much of a difference I've seen cardio, what cardio has done for me post-show and has kept me nice and tight. And again, you could tell that I've stayed nice and tight because my face has not blown up, and my ankles are not swollen, so I feel good. Even with all that aldactone, you would think that I would be blown up by now and being like a big water balloon. So that's it for now. Comment, subscribe, and again, I really appreciate everybody that has been messaging me on Instagram and stuff and showing their love and support. And and before I go, all you guys that have been, thank you for ordering all the the Paragon waist trainers that I have on sale. All my Paragon waist trainers. Version 2.0 is coming out. I'm going to be getting a sample this week. So hopefully before I go to China, I have the new sample and I could share with you guys what it is. And the awesome thing is that I'll be having the extremely small sizes now for those of you freaks out there that have little tiny waists. And this could also be for females too. So it's not only for males anymore. I'm going to be selling them out to females as well. I just didn't have the sizes for you girls, and now I will. So just look out for that. Until then, I'll see you guys.